Hello and welcome to another episode of Power and Diplomacy in Pre-Colonial Africa. My name is Adebayo Oluwake. In our last two episodes on the Mali Empire, we discussed the rise to power, challenges and achievements of Mansa Sundiata Keita and Mansa Musa. We also mentioned some of the key figures who played important roles in the development of the empire, such as Nare Fa Magan and Emperor Sakura. You may recall that in our first episode on the Mali Empire, we had informed you that it was Emperor Sundiata who gave the world the very first human rights charter, known as the Manden Charter, which has since been recognized as such by UNESCO and has been so proclaimed. In this podcast, we have something really fascinating. It has to do with another landmark effort by a Malian emperor in ocean navigation and an exploration of lands beyond the Atlantic Ocean, which happened 100 years before Ferdinand, Magellan and Vasco da Gama, and 200 years before Christopher Columbus made such an effort. We will also look at the issues surrounding his glorious enterprise. Interesting, isn't it? Are you ready to hear about this fascinating account of what the emperor did? What is his name? Who was he exactly? What was his motivation? Well, we believe he was Mansa Abubakar II, or according to some people, he was known as Mansa Muhammad Ibn Qu. We do not have his precise names because his name was not listed amongst the emperors who had ruled Mali. Quite strange, isn't it? Anyway, what exactly did he do? How did he do it? According to Mansa Musa Keita I, this emperor abdicated the throne to go and explore the Atlantic Ocean. And that was what made it possible for Mansa Musa to become emperor. This is not a story that we got from our usual sources, the famous Malian historians Janka Tasse Konde or Jibril Tamsir Niane, or even from the African-born Arab chronicler Ibn Battuta. Rather, it was a story told to the governor of a district in Cairo when Mansa Musa stopped over in Egypt on his way to Mecca for the Holy Pilgrimage. That governor was named Abu al-Hassan Ali ibn Amir Hajib, and this man would later give Mansa Musa's account to an Egyptian scholar named al-Umari. In effect, the story was popularized by that scholar. Now, what exactly did Mansa Musa say about his emperor who was fascinated by the oceans? According to the account of al-Umari, Musa told the governor that the emperor first commissioned a fleet of 200 boats to sail to the other end of the Atlantic Ocean. After a long time, only the captain of that expedition returned, and he reported to the emperor that the entire fleet perished after entering a turbulent path through a river. He, the captain, never sailed into that river current, and that was how he avoided the mishap. The emperor then prepared a vast exploration team of 2,000 boats, complete with men, stores, and provisions, and embarked on the exploration himself, never to return. If he hadn't gone on that sea trip, Mansa Musa might never have reigned and become the popular figure that he became. This story was later investigated by many explorers and contemporary academics, including Christopher Columbus himself, who believed it, by the way, and Ivan van Sertima, a Guyanese historian at Rutgers University in the United States. It was also investigated by the famous Malian researcher Gaoussou Diawara. Columbus's third voyage was predicated on following up on that exploration by Mansa Muhammad Ibn Qu, and this was confirmed by what was found written in his logbook. It was said that King John II of Portugal had repeated the claim of the inhabitants of the Caribbean island of Hispaniola that some black people had come from the south and southeast carrying spears made of metal forged with 32 parts of gold, silver, and copper. While some commentators have dismissed the story, claiming that Mali did not possess the technology to sail that far, a major history website has suggested that most historians think the captain was referring to the Canary Current, a cold current that flows from Spain and Portugal along the northwestern coast of Africa to the equator. It suggested that had that fleet sailed westward, it might have reached the Amazon. Let us now examine these doubts by asking the following questions. Why would Mansa Musa say that he only ascended to the throne after his predecessor went off on a sea voyage and never returned, if indeed this wasn't true? There is absolutely no motivation for Mansa Musa to embellish or fabricate such a story. He was, after all, the emperor, and his political and economic positions were secure, including having a net worth that is today estimated at $400 billion US. For those who dispute even the existence of Emperor Muhammad Ibn Qu because he does not feature on the list of Malian emperors, we draw their attention to this argument that while Mansa Sundiata is very popular in Malian oral tradition up till today, Mansa Musa is not as prominent in those traditions, yet Musa is the most documented in historical record, especially by Arab historians, while Sundiata is not. So that Emperor Muhammad Ibn Qu does not feature in the chronicle of Malian historians does not mean he did not exist. Also, we disagree with those who say that the technology to sail on the sea as far as the Americas was not available to West Africans. The fact is, it is not a question of not being available to West Africans, but not being available at all to any country in the world at that point in time. That means that the Mali Empire was way ahead of the entire world in navigation to have even attempted what it did. If the so-called experts believed that the story of the captain first sent out by Muhammad Ibn Qu is true, that the flotilla of 200 ships got to what would have been the Canary Islands before turning back, why did they not query the navigation technology that took the Malian exploration that far? Wasn't it the same technology that made the captain of the first expedition to successfully sail back to the Mali Empire after the bulk of that fleet was lost in order to give a report to Emperor Muhammad Ibn Qu? Muhammad Qu never gave a destination to the explorers or to himself. He simply wanted to explore and see what lay on the other side of the Atlantic. Why then the criticism that he couldn't have reached South America? In any case, this comment by Ed Wright would be a strong basis for affirming and inspiring further investigation. Quote, powerful but inconclusive arguments have been made to suggest that at least some of the fleet landed in America. The locations usually suggested are Recife in Brazil or the Caribbean, where the Garifuna, a tribe known to the Europeans as Black Caribs, claimed pre-Columbian African ancestry. Arguments for a pre-Columbian Malian presence in the Americas include the prevalence of the bottle gourd, a Native American plant in South American cultures, the composition of spearheads indicating the use of Malian gold, linguistic traces of Mandinka languages in the regions where the fleet may have landed, and Columbus's assertion that he saw black traders working in the Americas when he arrived, unquote. The fact is, Muhammad Qu became the first man to explore the Atlantic Ocean a century before the Portuguese. Where he got to is not an issue. His enterprise must be recognized and celebrated. He and his entire team, as well as his empire, were way ahead of the entire world in navigation technology. And they were Africans. With this, we have come to the end of this podcast. Remember to add in the section below any comments you think can help our understanding of this topic, or to include any information you think may have been omitted. Join me in the next podcast as we explore another great personality, empire, or kingdom in pre colonial Africa. Until then, it's bye for now.